Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm James, and welcome back to episode 2 of Back to the Feature. Last episode, we looked at the trilogy of Halloween films, the most gruesome, the most grotesque, the most blood-curdling. And this time we're going to go one step further. We're going to up the ante with the most blood-curdling, the most grotesque, the most disgusting thing.
That's right, James. There is nothing more horrifying than the British sense of humour. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we're going to be covering the 3 original short Wallace and Gromit films, A Grand Day Out, The Wrong Tousers, and A Close Shave. So, James.
Yes.
What do you reckon the Rotten Tomatoes score is for A Grand Day Out?
Alright, okay. I have literally no idea with the Wallace and Gromit films, because they're either going to be really high or really low. Okay. So I would say Wallace and Gromit, A Grand Day Out, which is my favourite one, I just want to say that, is going to be, what, 84?
You are 26 percentiles out. Which way do you think 84? You're out?
Yeah.
Higher or lower?
I can't be out or higher because that goes beyond 100.
Okay, 24. No, 14. Damn it, I can't do maths, shut up!
No, 16. I said 16. That'd be 16. So did it get 100?
Oh god, yes, it's 100% critic score. Oh, it's not a great start. It's not a great start.
Can't do maths, can you?
That's why I'm doing a history degree. Okay. Anyway, audience score. What do you reckon that is?
Audience score's got to be very close. What, 95? 80, 85? 94? 93.
87.
Oh, it could have gone in, definitely, couldn't it? If you carried on going. Okay, so let's get started on Grand Day Out. What's your experience with Wallace and Gromit?
So my experience with Wallace and Gromit was being introduced to them when I was very, very tiny, very small indeed. And honestly, I loved them to death since I was a child. And I think I've just grown to love them more as I've got older. A Grand Day Out, having watched it literally yesterday evening, I think there's just a beautiful charm about how janky some bits of the animation are, the character animation, but yet like the motion is still absolutely perfect. And that just blows me away every time I see it.
It's like a pilot episode. Yeah, you can see some of the thumb marks in the clay. Yes, the frame rate's a bit off compared to its later stuff, but it's got so much like Britishness to it and charm. And I remember I was saying whilst we were watching it the other day, I was like, this is like a comfort film. You can just put this on and you can just enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a man and his dog going up to the moon in their homemade rocket to find cheese on the moon because they haven't got any in their cupboard. It's just, how much more British can you get? It's wonderful.
Yeah, what's not to love?
So it took Nick Park 6 years to finish A Grand Day Out, from when he initially wrote to Peter Sallis, who voices Wallace, to actually completing the film. He made it in a basement at his college initially, and then Aardman picked him up about 4.5 years into production. So imagine for 4 years, it was essentially one man in a college basement making this animated film frame by frame. The man's dedication.
If I was him, I couldn't have got, like, after the first 6 months, I'd be like, yeah, I'm done. I'll go do something else. That's so much dedication, because he didn't know how successful it was going to be either.
Absolutely not. I mean, there's a line in the script which I'm going to paraphrase, but it essentially reads, Wallace builds a rocket in his basement. How long do you think it took him to finish that sequence, building the rocket?
Oh, too long. A couple of years.
Year and a half.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
It took him a year and a half to finish that one sentence of script.
But the thing is, it's not just the claymation that he's really good at, it's the storytelling as well. Like,
yes,
the whole moon being made out of cheese, and they've run out of cheese, but they've got all these crackers, so they just fly to the moon. And then the robot who wants to ski.
Yes.
Genius.
Wonderful creation.
Genius.
Wonderful.
Gromit only gets better as a character, with just sort of the
Oh yeah. What? We'll get on to him later and how he develops, but he's just brilliant. Another interesting thing is one of the things you mentioned whilst we were watching the film is how quite obviously Wallace's model, the head, changes shape. The reason why that happened was that those bits where his head is very sort of thin, pressed in, were very early in production. And then once they started dealing with dialogue, Nick Park started imagining how Wallace would actually kind of stretch out, saying "cheese" like really expressively. So that's why the character model changes massively throughout the film.
Okay, I mean it's such a short, so there's not a lot to say. But every single time I watch it, I'm just filled with so much, like not even nostalgia, because I didn't watch it much as a kid. I watched it once when my teacher in primary school didn't know what to do with an afternoon. And then I didn't really watch it since then. Maybe I saw it at a grandparents' house or something. But then stuck it on last night. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah. It's pure Britishness and joy, just encapsulated in 30 minutes.
Just to go back to his sort of dedication and the fact he spent this long on it, he didn't know it was going to be successful. He didn't know people were going to... But...
No. It's just a college project.
Or maybe
college
did.
Project.
You know
simple.
when Gromit's shuffling those cards? You can't be that talented to pull that off and think, yeah, this won't do very well. Because that shuffling cards...
I don't think he had any pretense of, it being successful at all.
He must know he's good, though. He must know he's brilliant. When we were watching that documentary this morning, and he was just talking with absolute modesty. I'm like, you're amazing. Right, do you want to go on to the next short in the Wallace and Gromit lineup?
The next short is, of course, The Wrong Tousers.
Yes,
starring
I love this one.
Everyone's most feared, dastardly villain, that penguin.
That penguin, right? He is so terrifying, and it just looks at you.
Yeah.
All he has to do is blink at you, and you're like, oh, okay, all right, take my wallet. I'm sorry.
Where do you think The Wrong Tousers comes on the tomatometer?
Less.
Less, do you think?
98.
Okay.
98.
You're wrong. It's 100% again.
Oh, come on. It's so obvious. It's so obvious.
Yeah.
Oh.
Then what do you think the audience score is?
Audience is 90.
92.
Oh, okay.
Very close.
I was closer on that one. I'm learning.
So, do you want to kick us off? What are your general thoughts about The Wrong Tousers, James?
Okay, The Wrong Tousers. Last night was actually, I'm sorry, second time I've ever seen it.
Okay.
But
I'm not at all... You haven't at all gone down in my estimation.
But
I'm fine about that.
But I love it. I've seen so many sort of critics of it, the whole how that final fight scene, that action scene, is one of the greatest choreographed fight scenes of modern cinema, and no one knows, because it is just it's not this happens and then this happens and then this happens. It's this happens, but then this happens. Therefore, the penguin needs to do this, but then Gromit does this. Therefore, there's flow to it. There's rhythm to it. There's momentum to it. And I'm trying to talk sort of seriously about a dog and a penguin fighting on a train track, but there's just because it is that good.
There's serious craft to it.
There is
serious craft.
Serious craft. Yeah,
I think you can imagine them poring forever over storyboarding, and then prevising it, and then finally getting around to making it. I can't imagine how long it must have taken them.
Far too long.
To make that
took
sequence.
Them a lot shorter to make though than the previous one, right?
Well, the thing is, the previous one was one man in a basement, and then once you get to The Wrong Tousers, I think that's a slightly larger production team. Still not massive, but it took them Wrong Tousers came out in 1993, I want to say. Still a lengthy amount of time to make 30 minutes worth of film.
That's the thing. That's another thing I was thinking.
Yeah,
about
1993 it came out.
Seriously, with sequels, you're meant to make it bigger and better, and they absolutely do that. Big Day Out, they just do classic Wallace and Gromit stuff, and then they start introducing more characters, more elaborate action scenes in The Wrong Tousers, and they play a bit more into the sort of the invention side of it as well with the trousers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
My favourite sequence from the film, personally, is the heist sequence. That whole sequence, it just beggars belief how they could have pulled that off. Because it just looks so convincing, all of it.
Well, that's the thing, and something we were talking about the other day, and I feel like we should bring this debate into this episode. Do you not think if something looks so realistic in claymation that it defeats the whole point of it being stop motion in the first place?
Okay, so one of the things I think that particularly the Aardman style of claymation has to it is a certain griminess, a certain... Using the models grounds it in some kind of physical reality. Because they're doing things physically in those films, not to get too nerdy and technical, that like CGI couldn't do in the 90s. It just wasn't possible, because you have to... one thing that comes to mind in Close Shave is when Gromit is on the bungee rope. Now in stop animation, you just do lots and lots and lots of pictures, making sure you get every movement absolutely right. And a computer couldn't do that in 1995. It was impossible. But I believe that with the Wallace and Gromit stuff, even the very much more recent stuff, the claymation itself just has a certain stylistic charm to it. That something like Flushed Away, for instance, I think lacks. If you look at Flushed Away these days, it's got a certain perfect sheen to it that the Aardman animations don't have, and I think that's what I prefer the claymation stuff.
Well, I
personally.
love the claymation stuff, but I love the claymation stuff because it's very, very clearly claymation. I love the sort of the low frame. I love the low frame rates, and I love the fingerprints in the clay, and I love it when it's obvious that it is a man who's dedicated. Because my main point is, if I spend 6 years doing stop motion animation, and then I have to tell someone that it's stop motion animation, like the average person, I have to tell them that it's stop motion for them to know that it's stop motion. I'll be like, what was the point? Why didn't I just do genuine animation?
I can see that.
Because it's a lot of time to put
these
into
days, like stop motion films are very much at a premium. There's not very many of them being made anymore, particularly. I think... What was the last stop motion film, apart from an Aardman film, that you can remember seeing?
The last stop motion film that actually came out, well, maybe not come out, but that I remember seeing, was Kubo and the Two Strings. The closest thing in living memory in the mainstream, although Kubo and the Two Strings is a great film, I highly recommend it, is the Lego Movie.
Right.
Because the Lego Movie is interspliced CGI and stop motion.
James, as we finally be able to agree upon something in film, I think I'm going to move swiftly onwards, if you don't mind. So we're moving swiftly onwards now to Wallace and Gromit in A Close Shave. So what do you think that the critic score for this one is?
Oh, considering I don't know it, I'm just going to take a random guess, pluck a number out of thin air. I'm going to go for 100. Is it 100? Is 100 the critic's response?
You seriously had no idea, and you got it right?
I had no idea. It's not like we've already filmed this bit and then my phone ran out of storage and now we're refilming it. I'm just plucking a random number out of the air, Adam.
You're so professional, James. There's no way that we could have filmed this twice.
100 though, because originally I did say 95, but 100, that just proves how good Wallace and Gromit is just as a franchise, and the fact it can get 100 every single time. It's so good. Now,
exactly.
Now, my opinion's just to hope that my phone doesn't run out of storage again. My opinion on this film, I think it's the worst of the Wallace and Gromit trilogy. I mean, I don't mind.
Okay.
I think it's too much. I think there's too much of it. I feel like Wallace and Gromit is at its best when there's a very contained story with just like 1 or 3 characters. That was where my mind went, which doesn't make any sense because I love Curse of the Were-Rabbit. But
yeah, but Curse of the Were-Rabbit is it's an hour and a half feature. It's it's much longer.
Like I love Shaun. We all love Shaun.
We all love Shaun the sheep. Oh my god.
But the input of other characters, I was like, I kind of just want Wallace and Gromit.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, my takeaway from it is... my main takeaway from the film is that the production values keep getting better and better and better, and nowhere is that exemplified further than in the chase scene, in which the sidecar invention is just absolute genius. When the sidecar goes down that cliff, and you're just like, oh my god, is Gromit gonna die? And they do that iconic shot of it just go under the camera shot and then back up again.
Yeah, I like it when when they've got the drill in the plank of wood that Gromit's holding, and the drill spins it, and that just I remember we were watching it, that blur animation, how he got that from stop motion.
I know.
Is incredible. It just blows my mind.
Totally.
I mean, I wasn't too big on the story, but from a technical aspect,
it's what you're talking about in terms of doing the sequel thing and making things bigger and better each time. And I think wholeheartedly they managed to do that. They managed to put the bit extra manpower, the extra imagination into it, and every single one is just the perfect sequel to the last.
And that's absolutely bang on. I couldn't agree more. Is there any final thoughts you've got on this episode, on this Wallace and Gromit short specifically? Is there anything more you want to say?
They are untouchable. They are a sacred part of British culture, and no bad word can be said about them.
Okay, with that being said, we're going to go and rank all three of them in this little bit here. So, out of 10, you do all three at the same time, and then I'll do all three at the same time. Go.
Okay. A Grand Day Out, 8 out of 10. Wrong Trousers, 10 out of 10. Then I think A Close Shave is a 9.5.
Okay, interesting, because I'm going to go Day Out. Day Out is a 9. Wrong Trousers is a 10. And then The Close Shave is an 8.
Okay.
So my opinion, it goes Wrong Trousers, Day Out, Close Shave. In your opinion, it goes Close Trousers, Close Shave, Day Out?
Wrong Trousers, Close Shave, Grand Day Out. The only reason why Grand Day Out is slightly below the other two is I feel like it's the proto Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah, okay.
The imagination is there, but the means to create just the wacky adventures isn't quite there yet. It's just a little bit limited. But it is still brilliant.
I mean, that's what I love about it most, though, the rough around the edges stuff. But I guess that just comes to preference.
Absolutely.
Okay,
we're being very amicable today. Like, what's happened to us?
We're being strangely, sort of
accommodating of each other's opinions.
Okay, next episode we've got to change that.
Absolutely, we got to cover something contentious next week.
Thank you so much for watching our review of the Wallace and Gromit trilogy. We had so much fun watching it. We hope you had fun listening to us ramble for however many minutes. I've been James.
I've been Adam, and this has been Back to the Feature.